I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
George Burns said, "The secret of a good sermon is to have a good beginning and a good ending, and to have them as close together as possible." I may try and do that, and then again, I may not. So some time ago, I was a minister at Unity Christ Church in St. Louis, and that's the first church that I had. And one Sunday morning, I'm feeling great. I'm driving on Highway 70 in St. Louis. It's normally about a 30-minute drive, and I got it going on. I got my favorite Jerry Garcia tie on. You know, at that time, they're about $50 a piece. And I've got a really great cup of coffee. And I'm just jamming to the radio, having a great time, looking forward to getting to church and doing what I love. And I went to got my coffee, went to take a drink of my coffee. And as I turned it towards myself, the top of my cup fell off. Right? And the entire cup of coffee went on my Jerry Garcia tie. And I'm like, ah! And I look down at my tie and it's got coffee all over it. And I'm thinking some words I won't say. And I look up and traffic has stopped on the freeway. I mean, totally stopped, and it looks like I'm going to crash into the car in front of me. But fortunately, there was an off-ramp there. So I took the off-ramp, and I'm skating down the off-ramp, and it's a short one. And there's a signal at the end, and there is no way that I have any time to stop, right? So I had to make a left turn because there was a detour sign, and all of a sudden I found myself winding through the back streets of St. Louis, way away from where I wanted to be, because I tried to avoid traffic and because I was enjoying myself. Pain is inevitable, and suffering is optional. You know, some physical pain is necessary. It's a message from our bodies that something is going on that needs to be corrected to get us out of the pain. Pain is necessary for us to flourish psychologically. You know, we have to sometimes feel lonely or angry or fear so that we can determine if there's something that we need to do mentally different. In Buddhism, these unavoidable pains in life are known as the first arrows. The second arrows are our judgments, our negative reactions to the first arrow. In this talk, I'm going to refer to those arrows as darts. And we get hit by darts almost every day. Have you noticed? That we have, you know, some kind of disappointment or some kind of loss or some kind of sorrow that we face in our lives. And then we add insult to injury through our reaction. You know, for example, we might have a headache, but our thoughts go to, oh my God, what if I have brain cancer? You know, or what if something really serious is going on in my brain? Oh my God, right? And that headache could be caused by dehydration, or it could be caused by the ice cream that we ate. Some of us ate and some of us eat, I don't know. I ate this morning, and I'll probably eat this afternoon. I feel like I'm teaching a second grade English class. Anyway, so something happens, and then we add insult to injury by hurting ourselves and by throwing the second dart. And so this talk today is going to be, how can we avoid throwing those second darts? You know, sometimes we even throw those darts when nothing has happened. Right? we're going along having a great day, and then we have these thoughts of, oh my God, what if this happens? Or we might be in an airplane and flying in an airplane, and we have thoughts like, oh, what happens if this plane crashes? What happens if I don't get to where I'm going on time? And we can create all these catastrophes in our mind. Ever happened to you? Where nothing has even happened, but we fill our thoughts with all these possible things that could happen and throw these arrows at ourselves or these darts at ourselves. We can even react negatively to positive events. You ever had somebody say, and I heard it a couple times this morning, oh, what a nice shirt. And then when somebody compliments us, what does our mind think? Oh, no. Well, it's not even my favorite one, Or if you only knew how stained it was under the arms. Or if you only knew how long it's been hanging in my closet because I didn't wash it. And if you have nice shirts like this, you're afraid to wash them, right? Because the colors leave them. So, that's another subject for another talk. I won't even go there. So the reactions that we have to the first darts, the second darts, are where we turn things around and look for something negative and that's happened or that we create in our minds. And unfortunately, the negative darts often outnumber the positive darts. Something positive can happen once, and then we throw all these other darts at ourselves, condemning ourselves, our thoughts, or what we have, and make light of or condemn or hurt ourselves in spite of the fact that something good has happened. So this talk is titled, Don't Throw the Second Dart. So how do we avoid throwing darts? How do we avoid throwing the second dart? And the first thing that we can do is to accept the certainty of the first darts, right? Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. Things are going to happen to us that we don't necessarily like. Ever notice? And if we can just accept, right? If we can just accept that, oh, that's just the way life is, right? Stuff happens as a part of for us to be on this journey of life. And what we can do is to sort of realize that that is true and to be able to be okay with coping with it. It reminds me of if you took a teaspoon of salt and put it in a cup of water and drank it, how would it taste? Salty. Pretty awful, right? You probably wouldn't finish it all. But if you took a tablespoon of salt and put it in a large bowl of clean, drinkable water, could you drink it? Probably so. There might be a small tint of salt in there. But the idea is that if we can get used to and realize that things aren't always the way we want them to be, and to be able to cope with them, and to know that in this lifetime, stuff happens. While we're these spiritual beings in these physical bodies, things are going to happen. So how can we avoid throwing the second dart? And this is the second dart because this is the hard one. And it is to embrace the discomfort from the first dart and to really allow ourselves to be with it, to feel it. I know this sounds crazy. You know, some hardcore Unity people are going to say, well, we never focus on the negative, right? But the truth is, oftentimes, we don't focus on the negative because we want to chase it away. But also what happens is, if we are aware of the negative thing and we can get used to it and tolerate it, we're not going to run from it so drastically. We're not going to try and push the things in life that happen that don't necessarily feel so good away. What if we just said, oh, interesting. I'm not enjoying what's happening right now. And can I just be with that? Can I love myself? Can I love life so much that I can just be with it right now? Rumi says this about it in his poem, one of my favorite poems of Rumi's, titled The Guest House. He says, this being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a challenge. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. He says, welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. You know, we often run from pain and towards pleasure, right? We say that pain is bad and pleasure is good. So many people live their entire lives trying to push what's painful away and move towards that which is pleasurable. I believe that a large part of our society and people in the world are addicted to pleasure, right? So much so that as soon as something painful happens, they go get a drink. Something painful happens, they go get some ice cream. Something painful happens, they run away from it instead of embracing the pain and being with the pain. Feeling the pain. Being, just accepting what is happening. Only being satisfied with pleasure causes us to run from pain. And pain oftentimes has lessons to teach us. We run from pain and towards pleasure. You know, the hope is that we can be more tolerant, be stronger, so that we can be more comfortable with a little bit of pain and discomfort, so we don't feel like we have to run away from it, or we don't have to chase something pleasurable because we're addicted to something else. When we are okay with discomfort, we become stronger and more resilient. And we are able to let go of the need to chase after that which we believe will relieve the discomfort. And our affirmation, oh, I love this. Rumi said, know that someday your pain will become your cure. Wow. He also said something like, it's in your pain where the light comes through. Remember that one? So oftentimes our pain has a lesson for us to learn if we just turn towards it and often ask, what can I learn from this? What is the higher truth that I can know in this difficult situation? Often it's our pain, it's the challenges in life that ignite us and give us the opportunity to stand up in the midst of that pain, in the midst of that trouble, and call upon the presence of Spirit, of love and light to guide us through the challenges that we have. I peacefully accept life's challenges. Let's say this together. I peacefully accept life's challenges. Can you feel the strength in that? To be able to be your spirit self in the midst of the challenges that you face. And the next way that we can avoid throwing the second dart is a little easier. A lot of people don't do it, and that is to practice relaxation and exercise. So take a breath, and breathing is part of that. You know, if we could totally be focused, if we could be relaxed, if we could, you know, the great thing about exercise is, of course, it keeps us in shape and makes us feel good, but there's something that happens to our body when we exercise, and it gives us the ability to relax, doesn't it? And if we could be in a place consciously where we are relaxed, we won't get into that place of stress and tension where we throw the second dart at ourselves or somebody else. Can you see the value in that? And it's so important to take care of this unit and to exercise it and to relax it and to spend time in meditation so that we can avoid the second dart. So how can we avoid the second dart? We can focus on what's good and be grateful. So many teachers talk about the power of recognizing what is good. You know, not to the extent that we avoid looking at the challenging things, but that we want to spend our lives, our consciousness being aware of what is good in this moment. And just to stop, take a breath, and see what's good right here. Wherever we are, in this moment, what is good? And then in the same way, to be grateful. You know, gratefulness is one of the most powerful energies in the universe. Because as soon as we express gratitude, we receive good from the universe. It's a universal law. As soon as we are grateful, it changes our DNA, it changes the neural pathways in our brain, and actually creates new places for good things to happen, new thoughts to happen, new ways to be able to accept the love and the light that's in every moment. So being grateful changes our brain. There's a great story that I like that I think really shows this point, the importance of looking for good. And it's about a little boy, and he is going to play baseball. And he's got his baseball cap on, and he's got his bat and his ball, and he's walking down the street on the way to the park, and he stops, and he takes the ball, and he throws it up in the air and misses it. And he says, Then picks it up again, and he says, you know what? I'm the greatest baseball player in the world. Throws it up, misses. Reaches down, picks up the ball, and he says, you know, I am the greatest baseball player in the world, and I'm going to go down in history as that baseball player. Throws it up in the air, swings, and misses it. And he stands back and he says, what a pitcher. So he could have spent his whole day looking at the fact that he missed that ball. Instead, he focused on what was good, on what he could do, what he desired for himself to be. And the lesson is for us that we too can change our attitude regardless of what is happening in the moment, and embrace the good that's there for us right now. Oh, there's a picture of him. I peacefully accept life's challenges. Well, there I was, driving through the back streets of St. Louis on the way to church, and at this time I'm already a half hour late. And I am throwing darts at myself, freaking out. The roads I took got me back on the highway, back in the traffic that was still going nowhere. And sometime later, I got to Unity Christ Church, and I realized that 80% of the people who were coming had all been in the same traffic. And nobody is wondering where I am. So after I threw all those darts at myself, I was the only one who got hurt. As the saying goes, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I peacefully accept life's challenges. Let's say it together. I peacefully accept life's challenges. And I invite you to close your eyes. And let's take this moment as an opportunity to be peaceful, to invite into our consciousness, into our experience right now, this blessed opportunity to be peaceful. And to imagine that as we embrace this idea of peace, of not throwing the second dart, we send this affirmation, this feeling out into our future. And take a breath. And by that, we can imagine that something is going to happen. Some first dart is going to happen. And when it does, we just breathe into it. Accept that, yes, this is happening right now, in the future. And to see yourself calm and peaceful. Maybe you even pick up that second dart. And then you have the conscious choice not to throw it, to set it back down. And open your heart and be present for yourself, for the challenging opportunity to share love. Breathing in, breathing out. And as we spend the next few moments in the silence, I invite you just to be in that peaceful place, to see yourself in the future, calm, centered, at peace, as we spend a few moments in the silence. And return your awareness to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And slowly let your awareness come back to this moment. And then to open your eyes. To let your light shine. Let your love shine. All right. Well, we are planning to do a 5-step prayer process class that we had planned that Christine was going to teach. And we had 3 people that were interested in taking this class. And unfortunately, one of the people can absolutely not make it the times that we had scheduled it. So we're going to have to reschedule the class. So Kat, if you want to talk to me about that after the class. Kat wasn't one of the aforementioned people, but was one's interested in the class. So we'll talk about that and reschedule it. This is a prerequisite for being a prayer chaplain here at Unity on Maui. We plan on doing a prayer chaplain training beginning in January. So if you are here or you're watching and you're interested in becoming and doing this amazing, heartful job as a prayer chaplain, let me know, and we'll figure out when this is going to happen. And it's an absolute joy. This training is spectacular. And Christine, if we can get her to teach this class, she is amazing, as many of you know, has an incredible prayer consciousness. All right, and Linda's doing Course in Miracles. Let's hear it for Linda and the Course in Miracles on Monday night, 4 to 5:30. It's a great class. I've heard just gobs of good things about it. And so thank you for doing that. And it's a great time to be here and to celebrate this amazing teaching during the week. Also, Mike is doing a La Perouse hike this coming, is that right, Mike? Is it? It's coming next Saturday, right? The 29th. So if you're interested in going on that amazing hike, give Mike a call. He'd love to work that out with you. And I think we've even talked about having a van come here and pick everybody up here if we get a large crowd, and then taking everyone to La Perouse. It'd be a great time to be together, a great opportunity to use our new van. And so let us know if you're interested in doing that. Give Mike a call. Also, we have reinstated our Thursday noon meditation. Happens right here in the sanctuary on Thursday. We read the daily word and then spend 30 minutes in the silence. Great way to get connected with your higher self during the week. And next week, my talk is titled, How to Unlock Your Spiritual Wisdom. And all of us have this amazing connection to truth and to power and to love within ourselves, but maybe we haven't quite figured out how to get there to do that. So next week in this talk, we're going to look at what can we do to open that channel of communication even more to have access to our spiritual truth. So join us right here next Sunday at 10 o'clock. And let's see what else is on here. Oh, and if you enjoyed the talk today, you can get a copy of my Walk Your Talk that I have. I summarized everything I talked about today. So you can get on the phone, tell your friends and your family everything you learned at Unity today. And so the copy of this is on the back table in the back. Sounds redundant, but this is not redundant. All right, then. I think that's about it for today. So why don't we stand? And let's take a deep breath, and in a moment we'll pray the prayer for protection, and then we will join hands and sing the peace song together. So let's affirm together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. God bless you, friends. Thank you for being here today.
Where I live, there are rain.